Hey IT Pro. When it comes to large conference room audio, you really have two options. Either settle for limiting solutions that leave people unheard, or pay an arm and a leg for some complicated audio solution. STEM is here to change that. With 3 networkable audio devices that can be mixed and matched into any size conference room, you now have the freedom to create your perfect room and at a price point that doesn't destroy your budget. Take meetings into your own hands with StemAudio, the conference room ecosystem.
Godmorgen. Velkommen ombord til vores lille webinar her i dag. Vi har, som I kan se, vi har 2 skærme her, så der er mig selv, sagde hunden, er her i vores lille studie på matriklen i Herlev. Der har vi lige shined lidt op til dagens event. Og så har vi Bob her ved siden af fra StemAudio. Where are you actually sitting right now, Bob?
I'm in France, which is where I live, and exactly in France, I'm in the north of the Loire Valley, so in between Le Mans and Angers, if that means anything to anybody.
Okay.
Hence the reason, and I'm a British guy, so that's why I have my English pictures behind me and my picture of the Eiffel Tower, and I kind of sit in between the two of them.
That's all good. I will do it a little bit in Danish again. Ja, vi kører webinaret i dag på StemAudio her sammen med Bob fra StemAudio, og han går igennem en præsentation på produkterne, og så bagefter så tager jeg en gennemgang på dansk, hvordan man sætter dem op, hvordan deres webinterface det fungerer, og hvordan man designer et rum. Så det er sådan lidt planen i dag. Så hvis I har nogle spørgsmål, så som sagt, så ude i højre side af jeres skærm, der har I den lille knap, der hedder chat, og der kan I nede i bunden skrive jeres spørgsmål, og så vil jeg løbende samle op på dem. Og bagefter, når webinaret er slut, så sender vi jer en optagelse af det her webinar, så I får det som en slags video. Og der kan man stadigvæk stille spørgsmål, så modtager jeg det bare som en e-mail. Og ellers så kan I trykke på den lille knap til højre for Bobs billede, der kan I trykke på den lille røde knap, så gør I billedet af os på video lidt større og fjerner kommentarer og indstillingsfeltet ude til højre. Så det er lige for at gøre det lidt mere praktisk for jer. Og ellers så, ja, tak fordi I er gået så stærkt med ombord her. Så vi er glade for, at vi er i gang med webinar igen, og der kommer til at køre mange webinarer her hen over vinteren, så hold øje med vores hjemmeside, så ruller vi en masse webinarer ud på den, så I kan signe jer op. Og altid, så sender vi en optagelse af de her webinarer til jer efterfølgende, så I behøver ikke at sidde fysisk til stede på webinaret. Vi sender det til jer efterfølgende under alle omstændigheder. Yeah, that was just some Danish. I think you understand everything, Bob?
Absolutely everything, yeah. I think you were saying something like, Kronenberg is probably the best lager in the world or something like that.
Exactly, yeah. That was exactly what my point was. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I just said to people they can just ask questions and I will look after the questions in the chat box here. So everything is good.
Okay.
And, yeah, it's up to you now, Bob, to start your part of the show.
I'm gonna do that. So, okay, you want me to get started?
Yeah, you're more than welcome to start up.
Good. Okay, well, thank you. Thanks, Brian. By the way, I love the background. Makes me feel like I'm talking to my colleagues in America.
Exactly.
So I am Bob Farrah. I'm from StemAudio, and yeah, so today basically I wanted to give you an introduction and an overview to StemAudio. So before I get into the actual solution of StemAudio, just a quick bit about who we are. So StemAudio is we're an American-based company. We actually were created about 2 years ago, and we were created out of another audio company which has been in the market since 2004, a company called Phoenix Audio Technologies. Phoenix Audio was created in 2004 and was the first company actually to come out into the marketplace with a USB speakerphone. So if you think back into 2004, there wasn't a great deal of PC-based video conferencing going on. I think Skype was just released into the market. But Phoenix Audio saw that the way that video conferencing would be moving towards a PC-based platform, and they started to develop USB-based audio devices. The philosophy has always been to try to make audio as simple as possible. And obviously, if you're running video conferencing on a PC, it means generally you want simplicity. So that's always been our philosophy, and that's what we tried to continue when we came out with StemAudio, is to really to simplify audio, but still maintaining professional, high quality audio within a meeting room environment. The reason we created StemAudio is a couple of years ago, we went out to the market and we did a survey. We did a huge survey of end users, of consultants, AV integrators, and asked them a whole load of questions trying to understand what are the biggest challenges that people have regarding audio in a meeting room environment, and what are the key things that people were looking for when it's when searching for a new product or a new solution. We got a whole load of response back, but we were able to really try to categorize the key points into these, what we call 6 common pain points that people find. Some of the feedback we got was sort of what we were expecting, like the difficulty of installation. We kind of know that there's always a challenge when it comes to installing audio. There's a lot of things to consider regarding room acoustics, regarding the different types of cabling, positioning of products, and then the fact you have to go and program a DSP to fine-tune everything for that particular room's environment. So the difficulty of installation was not a surprise, but that we got that feedback. But actually, the complexity of audio, it doesn't start at the installation. It really starts at the design phase. It starts when the customer comes and says, "Okay, I've got this meeting room. It's 10 meters by 7 meters, and I need a video conferencing solution, and I need good audio." How do you know where to start? How do you know how many microphones you need to put in there, where you put those microphones in place to make sure that you're getting full coverage? So the complexity starts right at that point. And right now you're thinking, okay, I need to bring in an audio engineer who really understands audio to do my design for me. So we wanted to address that issue at the beginning, is to make the actual room design much simpler so that you could get a really good view of what the audio pickup would look like before you even go out and start buying products. The difficulty of installation I've talked about. The other thing that came back, which was more interesting, is how do you test a room? And if you think about it, when you test a room today, the way you do it is you set up the products in the room, and then you make a call to somebody back at the head office, and you stand in the room and say, 1, 2, 3, testing, how do I sound? And the guy at the other end will say, yeah, you sound great, or you sound bad. It's very subjective. It really is a subjective way of testing the audio quality of a room, and not really something that you can get the customer to sign off on. I can't really go and say, hey, look, Brian told me it sounds great, so please sign off on this installation. So what we wanted to do is to find a way that we could actually quantify the actual audio quality of a room. So we'll come on to how we address that one as well a little bit later. The fourth thing that came back, which was pretty strong in terms of the feedback we got, was having a solution which scales across all sorts of different meeting rooms. So I've got this down as customizing a solution. The way that meeting rooms are set up today, when you're looking at the different audio devices, you have a small meeting room or a huddle room, and that has one type of solution in it. That may be like a Logitech meetup or some small all-in-one device, which is perfectly suited for a small huddle room space. But you can't use that in the medium-sized or large meeting rooms. So in your mid-sized meeting rooms, you have a different solution. And then usually in your boardroom, you have something else. So you have, within your organization, you have a a real mix of different solutions from different vendors. This means that for the integrator, they're having to learn, understand, and maintain a whole range of different products from different vendors with different maintenance contracts, etc. For the end customer, it means that they're getting a different experience in different rooms. The audio experience in the small meeting room will be quite different from the medium to the large meeting rooms. So what we wanted to have is a solution which will scale across all the meeting rooms, which makes it much easier for the AV integrator, and it gives us unique experience for the end customer. The final things that we got back when we did our survey is that people want to be able to manage the audio products remotely. They don't want to have to always send an engineer on site into the meeting room to do any management requirements. So remote management became quite an important thing. And then the last thing was people are looking for a solution which is not highly complex and requiring a lot of training to get in to understand how to actually use it or install it. So based on this, we realized that we didn't need to come out with a new product for a meeting room. We actually needed to come out with a totally new solution, a new way of looking at how you design and integrate into meeting room environments. And that's the reason we created StemAudio. We wanted to create something which was unique in the marketplace. We didn't want it tied in with Phoenix Audio, which has a different range of products for different requirements. So we created StemAudio. StemAudio is, I'll use the term, it's quite relevant, I guess. It's the Lego of the audio world. We're basically providing building blocks, which you can then create whatever you want out of it for different types of meeting rooms. The building blocks, or the Lego blocks that we have within the StemAudio range, is the ceiling, the wall, the table, the hub, and the control. So these are the devices, and I'm going to talk about these devices and how this all works together in the next couple of slides. So starting off, the table. We try to keep it simple, so we didn't give it a fancy name like an MT369ZYZ or something. The table device is designed to go on a table, as the name suggests. This is a speakerphone device. It actually has 9 microphones built inside of it. It has a loudspeaker built inside of it. So this is both picking up the audio in the room as well as sending the far end audio out into the audio space. On this device, what we did actually with the loudspeakers, we turned it upside down so it points downwards. So when you're placing this on the table, the loudspeaker points down onto the table. So this is actually helping also to dissipate the audio within the room. A few things about all StemAudio devices. The first thing is the audio processing, the DSP, is built inside each StemAudio product. So inside my table or any other StemAudio product, there's a full high-quality DSP, and that is providing you the echo cancellation, is providing you noise cancellation. It does automatic gain control, it does de-reverb, it does beamforming technology. So it's a powerful DSP built inside of here. And a note on the DSP is we designed the algorithms ourselves. So these are not a third-party chipset that we go out and buy. The core competence in StemAudio is our DSP technology. So that's inside here. The other thing to mention about StemAudio is that all of our devices are powered using PoE. So the devices are connected to a network, they communicate over a network, and they're powered using PoE. So it means I just have one single cable to provide power as well as the communication to my device. So this is my table device, as I mentioned. It's 9 microphones. It's got a loudspeaker built inside of it as well, designed to go on the table of the meeting room. But if I don't want to put something on the table, and the tendance these days is much more is to get things off the table and either put it on the wall or the ceiling, then we'd be looking at our wall product. The wall product, which I've got one here behind me, this is a microphone array which also includes speakers and subwoofer. So it's an all-in-one device with speakers, microphones, subwoofers. It actually has 15 microphones. For those that need to know the details, it's got 15 microphones in here. Those microphones are all pre-configured. They're very directional microphones, and they're pre-configured to point into different directions of the meeting room, so that the sum total of all the microphones is giving you a 180-degree pickup range. The fact that they're directional microphones also means that I can get a very long-distance pickup from this wall device. So I can actually put the device at the front of the meeting room under the display, for example, and that will still pick up people within quite a long distance away from the microphone itself. And once again, the full DSP is in there, and it's powered and connected via the network. The third device that we would be putting into a meeting room for the audio pickup is our ceiling device. So the ceiling device, I have one here behind me. The ceiling device is microphones only. When you receive a ceiling from StemAudio, you will get the ceiling device, and you'll get a standard acoustic ceiling tile with it, which the ceiling tile can fit inside. So I can choose to have my ceiling in what we call flush mounted, which means I put it in the ceiling tile and I just replace one of the ceiling tiles in my meeting room. It also comes with a cable, so we can actually have the option to have it in what we call chandelier mode. So if I don't have a full ceiling and I want to lower the ceiling a bit further down, then I can suspend it with the cable that's provided and have it in chandelier mode. So we have these two different options for mounting it. It can be either flush mounted or in chandelier mode. The ceiling device itself has 100 microphone elements in there. And with these microphone elements, I can choose between different types of beam pattern. So I can choose to have a very narrow beam, which is like 0 degrees straight down. Or I can choose to go for a medium beam, which is more like 30 degrees, or I can choose to have a wide beam, which is giving me 45 degrees. So this is giving me the ability to choose how much of the meeting room I want to have covered with my ceiling microphone. I have a fourth option with my ceiling, and that's called acoustic fencing. So with acoustic fencing, if I switch that on, what happens is that the ceiling will create a fairly narrow beam. It's about 25 degrees. Within that beam, it will pick up any audio. But as soon as I step outside of the beam, then noise cancellation will actually cancel out all of that audio. So this is ideal if you have a meeting room environment, for example, which is in a large open plan space. And within that open plan space, I want to have a small collaboration room or collaboration space. So in that case, I can put my ceiling above it. I can put it on acoustic fencing. So I'm going to pick up all of the people who are sitting around the table in the collaboration space. But the acoustic fencing will block out all of the noise outside of it. So this is a very powerful acoustic fencing that we have. And it really does, as you move out of the beam, it just cuts off that audio. So I have these different options when I'm setting up my ceiling to choose it between just a standard narrow, medium, or wide beam, or I can switch on the acoustic fencing. Just a note with the acoustic fencing, which I'll come on to later, the acoustic fencing only works with our ceiling products. It does not work with the wall or the table devices. So we have the table, the wall, and the ceiling. The real benefit of StemAudio is that I can actually mix and match these devices. So I can put different combinations of table, ceiling, or wall in my meeting room. So either I can just have a single device in the meeting room if it's a small meeting room, or I can start putting 2, 3, 4, 5 devices in a meeting room. With our current firmware, we limit it to 5 devices, but with a firmware release which will be coming out fairly soon, we will extend that up to 10 or 12 devices in the meeting room. So this is giving us the ability to create an audio solution for any type of meeting room, whether it's a small huddle room space or a huge, large boardroom or meeting space. So this is our ability to mix and match, which is creating what we call the ecosystem of products. do that, we have our hub product. So the hub, this is a device, as soon as I have more than one StemAudio device in the meeting room, then I need my hub. The StemAudio devices in the meeting room are connecting to the network, and they're talking over the network. We use a proprietary SIP protocol to communicate between the devices. And then I would put my hub device also connected to the network. And the hub device will now pick up the audio signals from the other devices in that room. It will also do processing and mixing of those signals and then send the audio out via its USB port to my video conferencing platform. One of the things I didn't mention is on each of the StemAudio devices, in addition to my RJ45 connection, which is there for connecting to the network, I also have a USB connection. So this is in place for the instances where I just have a single StemAudio device in the room. If I have a single device, then I do not need the hub. I can just connect my single device via USB directly to my computer, which is running the video conferencing. As soon as I have more than one device in the meeting room, then I need to use the network to communicate between them, and that's where I have my hub. So my hub device has a RJ45 connection, which is for connecting to the network, for communicating with the other devices. I have my USB connection to talk to the outside world via the computer. I have two other ports. I have a speaker out. This is a line level terminal block, so I can add additional speakers into the meeting room. Very important, if I'm using the ceiling device, then I need extra speakers in that meeting room, and I would do that via my hub. So I can connect an amplifier to my hub and then extra speakers into that meeting room. And the last connection I have on my hub is a Dante connection. So if I want to communicate between my STEM ecosystem and a Dante product, then I can also do that via the Dante connection on my hub. The hub itself is quite a small device that can be mounted anywhere in the room. It could go behind the display, under a table, on a table. It's pretty versatile. We just recommend that you put the hub as close as you can do to the computer, obviously to reduce the amount of USB cable. And then the last product that I'm going to talk about quickly is our control. The control system, which I have one here in front of me. So this is a device which will run our control software. Our control software does two key things. The first is it's a user interface. So I can use my control. The control comes with a Zoom interface or a Ring Central interface. So I can use this if I have a meeting room which has a dedicated PC running my Zoom video conferencing. What I need is a very simple device on the table for somebody to come in and just launch and manage that Zoom call. So I can use my control for this. It's just a simple user interface. I walk in, I hit the Zoom button, and I launch my meeting. We will, over time, be adding other platforms to the control. So we will be looking at adding Microsoft Teams. We'll be looking at adding the GoToMeet and various other platforms. So this will be the user interface. Obviously, if I'm using more of a BYOD type meeting room, then I don't need my control for this. I can just come in with my laptop, connect the USB cable, and run whatever platform I'm using on my laptop. The other part of control is the administrative functions. So to get access to the administrative functions, I can either do that using my hardware-based control, but I can also do that via a standard HTML connection using a web browser and my PC. Or I can do a download on an Android device or an Apple device from the various Google Store or Apple Store. So that's just the interface. So that's the hardware side. So we talked about the different products that we have, the different Lego blocks that we have that will create this audio environment for my meeting room. How do we address these 6 common pain points? So the first one is the room design. And I know Brian's going to show you a live demonstration of this, but we have created a room design tool. So if you go on to the StemAudio website, stemaudio.com, and go into the button which says Get Started, that will take you into our room design tool. This is a really simple way for you to create your own room design. There's no limitations on this. You can create whatever shape or size room you need. You can put in whatever shape or size table you want, and then you can start adding the StemAudio products and see exactly what the pickup pattern looks like with those products in the meeting room. So it's a really simple tool. Once you've done your design, you can create a PDF file, and then you can give that PDF file to your purchasing department because it has a bill of materials so they know what to buy. But you can also give the design to your installation engineer, whoever's going to go on site to actually put the products in place so they know where to place them. So have a look on the website, StemAudio.com, have a look at our room design tool. It's really simple to use, so you can play with that and you can start create your own room designs. The second one was the difficulty of installation, but I've kind of covered that in that one of the things we looked at was the cabling. We wanted to get rid of all of these proprietary type cables. So we decided to go with a networked product, one single cable, a single RJ45 cable. For my installation, it couldn't be much simpler. I go into the room, I put my products in the meeting room where they need to go. I plug them into the network, and then I go through my administration software to assign the IP addresses of those devices to the hub. And that's it, it's done. We created also through our administration software a tool called Room Adapt. So rather than having to bring in a highly experienced audio engineer to start programming a DSP, we've done this through the touch of a button. I run my Room Adapt, I just press on Room Adapt, and what will happen is that the control software will send a signal to the speakers in the room, which will create a noise. And what it's doing is measuring the reverberance of the room. So it will send out a noise through the speakers, and the microphones will listen to that, what the signal that comes back. And based on the audio that it receives back, it will fine-tune the microphones to adapt it for that particular room's reverberance. So this is our Room Adapt tool, which is the sort of the final stage of installing, which takes about 5 seconds to run. The third point, which was testing the room. So we wanted to get rid of this subjective way of testing a room by asking somebody how I sound. So again, within the admin software, we have a tool called Room Check. What Room Check does is when I'm standing in the room, I can click on the button which says Room Check. And at that point, I will talk. I will just talk normally, as though I was in a meeting. And the StemAudio ecosystem will listen. The microphones in that room will all listen to my audio. And it will be running an algorithm. We're actually running artificial intelligence here, which will measure the audio pickup of every single part of the room. I don't need to walk around. I just stand in one place. But the algorithm will work out exactly what does the audio pickup look like in that room. And it will provide me this heat map. It will show me a picture of the room with the different areas of the room shaded in green, yellow, or red. Obviously, the green is what we're looking for. That means that the audio pickup in those areas is excellent. The yellow areas means that the audio pickup is good, and the red means that it's not so good. So this now gives me a quantitative way to test the room. It also gives me a physical diagram, which I can go to my customer to get sign off to say, yeah, this is what the audio pickup looks like in that room. The fourth point I was talking about is the customization. So this was the ability to have a single solution that covers every single meeting room in the organization. The way we've done that is through our building blocks, is through this ecosystem of products, which I can use any combination of the ceiling, the wall, or the table in a meeting room environment. So this gives me that ability to have a solution which will go both in my small huddle room spaces right the way up to my boardroom. And then coming on to the last couple of points, so managing the solution. Because our products are on the network, it means we have the ability to remote manage them. As long as I can get access to the network, I can get access to the management tools which are inside the admin software. So within my admin software, I can look at the different meeting rooms. So what you see on the picture here is the top level showing the different meeting rooms. They'll be highlighted green or red. Green means that they're active and they're working fine. Red means there's a problem in that meeting room. So I can see immediately if there's any issues in any of the meeting rooms because it will be highlighted red. If I see anything red, then I can drill down into that meeting room and I can see everything which is in there, the type of devices. I can drill down into the devices themselves and I can run diagnostics. So I can find out exactly what the problem is before I have to send somebody on site to fix it. We do a lot of other things with the management software as well. There's a lot of statistics and a lot of other management tools which are available within this. So I can really manage and control my audio setup in the different meeting rooms. So the final point was the training. People are looking for a solution which does not require tons of training, sending engineers away for a couple of days to learn how to do programming and DSP management. So what we did with StemAudio is we created a solution which we believe is pretty intuitive. We use technologies and devices which people are using every day. So the ability to access our control software through a simple Android device or an Apple device or through a web GUI. And this simplicity of having the products just connected onto a network. So we try to make it really simple, so there's no real training requirements necessary. We've also made the solution totally compatible. At the end of the day, it's a USB device. It's a solution which has multiple ways of configuring, but from a PC perspective, it's a USB connection. So we're compatible with any of those video conferencing platforms which are available today. So what I've tried to get through on this presentation is that StemAudio is not another product for a meeting room. What StemAudio is a total solution which takes you from the design phase and gives you a real simple design tool through the installation through to the management. So this is a complete solution for your meeting room environments, which takes you through all of the different steps. So that brings me to the end of my part. So what I'm going to do now is I will stop the presentation and hand over to Brian. I think Brian was going to do a few of the demonstrations. So handing over to you, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation. That was very good. And I will do a walkthrough of the web interface and also show the room design. And then I will switch to Danish, of course.
Yeah, do please.
So. Allerførst vil jeg lige vise jer, det her det er interfacet på StemAudio. Så sådan her ser det ud, når jeg logger ind på en IP-adresse på en af enhederne. Så er det her, der er min forside. Hvis jeg har tilmeldt systemet til et rum, så har jeg også tilføjet et password, så det skal jeg så taste, når jeg går ind i det enkelte rum. Herinde der kan jeg taste på forskellige knapper, så hvis jeg er ved at sætte et nyt produkt op, så klikker jeg på Quick Start, og der kan jeg så gå ind og sætte mit produkt op. Nu har jeg sat nogle produkter op i vores setup, så jeg kan gå ind og trykke på Ecosystem. Jeg kan se, at den lige skal opdateres en gang her. Hvorfor har jeg... Det er den typiske ting. To sekunder. Der har vi den. Jeg tror lige, min netværk spillede mig et pus. Nu er jeg inde, nu connecter den lige til mit system igen. Den har jeg været connected for længe, og så kommer tilbage igen, så skal den lige rebootes. Jeps. Sådan. Så password. Så er jeg inde. Når jeg trykker på Ecosystem, så har jeg mulighed for Rooms, Devices og så min Design Wizard. Det jeg gør, det er, at jeg går ind, og så starter jeg med mine produkter, som jeg har koblet op. Så her kan vi se de produkter, jeg har koblet op her i vores rum. Og der kan jeg så bagefter gå ind og så tilføje dem til mit specifikke rum, jeg gerne vil have dem i. Og ellers så kan jeg tilgå deres enkelte IP-adresse her, hvis jeg klikker på dem, så hopper jeg nu direkte ind på ceiling-enheden. Jeg kan se dens serienummer, dens MAC-adresse, dens IP-adresse.
Brian, we can't see the screen at the moment.
You can't see the screen?
Yeah.
Good, you're
It
saying
was
it.
there, it just disappeared.
I don't know why. I press again. Okay, I don't know why it jumped out. So like that, can you see it now?
Yeah, that's good, thanks.
Okay, should I just go back? I pressed, jeg trykkede på ceiling, på loft-mikrofonen, og så kommer jeg ind på det billede her. Jeg ved ikke lige, hvorfor mit netværk lige spillede mig et pus. Men herinde, der kan jeg altså se, at det er inde i ceiling. Jeg kan se dens serienummer, jeg kan se dens MAC-adresse, som kan være rart. Hvis nu man har flere loft-mikrofoner sat op, så kan det være rart at vide, at man har fat i præcis den, man ønsker at kalibrere eller tjekke dækningen på. Dens IP-adresse og hvad for en firmware den kører. Og hernede kan jeg så pinge den, og der vil mikrofonen begynde at stå og blinke i dens lys. Så jeg skal ikke trykke på den lige nu. Sådan kan jeg gå de forskellige igennem, og hvis jeg går ind i Rooms, så ser jeg så nu det rum, jeg har sat op. Den forstår ikke Ø og Å, så jeg har bare kaldt det mode 1. Det er vores mødelokal 1. Og i mødelokal 1, der har jeg så alle mine mikrofoner sat ind, og her nederst nede, der kan jeg så trykke Room Adapt, så begynder den at lave nogle sjove lyde, hvor den så går ud og tilpasser alle de mikrofoner, jeg har i rummet, til det lokale, de så er i. Og bagefter kan jeg så teste rummet, som en efterfølgende tjek af lokalet. Når jeg går ned i bunden her, så har jeg egentlig mit layout af vores møderum, og når jeg trykker på Edit Layout, så kan jeg gå ind og editere i mit rum, hvis nu jeg havde flere stole, eller bordet var mere firkantet, eller der var flere borde derinde, eller jeg havde flere mikrofoner, jeg godt kunne tænke mig at få ind. Og så kan jeg trykke på den, der hedder Room Check. Nu kører jeg ikke med StemAudio inde i her, for jeg har sådan en lille knappenålsmikrofon på, så jeg kan ikke køre Room Check lige nu. Men jeg kan trykke på Room Check, og så får jeg, som Bob han fortalte om, et direkte billede af de mikrofoner, jeg har valgt i mit lokale, hvordan de fungerer sammen. Så der kan jeg med det samme se, har jeg brug for flere, eller har jeg den dækning, jeg gerne ønsker. Så det er utrolig enkelt. Jeg kan også derindefra eksportere mit design, hvis jeg har brug for at have det ud som en PDF og give til kunden, eller have brug for det til vores installatører. Jeg har også det, der hedder dialer. Det er bare et almindeligt telefonsystem, hvor hvis du har sat det op, så kan du gå ind og trykke telefonnummer, og så kalde op den vej igennem. Videokonference, den kan jeg, hvis jeg trykker på den her fra min PC, så vil den sige til mig, at du skal køre dit ønskede videokonferencesoftware på din computer, og så være sikker på, at StemHub er connected med USB og Dante, og så enten du skal bruge den her lille StemAudio kontrolenhed, eller du skal downloade deres app for at kan betjene det den vej igennem. Statistik er et rigtig godt værktøj til vores IT-afdeling for eksempel, eller facility, for der kan du gå ind og se, hvordan har oppetiden været, hvor længe har det kørt, og du kan gå ind og se det på de enkelte enheder efterfølgende også, så du kan sidde og holde øje remotely, hvordan rummene kører. En anden ting, du også kan se derinde, du kan se faktisk du kan se dit layout af dit rum, også herinde. Så det er utrolig smart overblik over, hvordan rummene de kører. Så der kan man klikke sig igennem alle de forskellige logs, der kan have været kommet. Nu har den vist nogle fejllogs, for jeg har haft taget udstyret ud af vores møderum, for at tage det her ind i vores lille studie. Så vil jeg egentlig lige vise jer, hvorledes at vi gør... Skal jeg bare lige finde den her. Jeg lukker den. Den har jeg der. Mit room design. Den er der ikke lige. Så den tager vi bare sådan her. Du får lige lidt et dobbeltbillede, men her kan I se mit room design. Har jeg ret, Bob? Kan du se room design nu?
Yeah, I see it.
Ja. Så herinde, der kan jeg så begynde at designe mit rum. For det første, så kan jeg hernede i bunden, nu inde på StemAudios hjemmeside, så hernede i bunden kan jeg sige, er det på meter, eller er det amerikanske mål, jeg bruger. Og så kan jeg starte med for eksempel, og så få sat nogle mure ind. Når jeg siger plus, så skal den bare lige lidt sløv, min computer, så den var lidt langt tid om at reagere.
Click on build walls.
Ja, exactly. Sådan der, nu har jeg mit rum. Min internetforbindelse var lidt sløv, det skal jeg lige have kigget på. Men nu har jeg lavet mit rum. Jeg kan også gå ind og sige, at rummet er lidt større. Det kan vi sagtens. Sådan der. Og når jeg har mit rum, så kan jeg trykke møbler. Og inde i møbler, der kan jeg så for eksempel vælge, at jeg gerne vil have et bord ind. Det får jeg der. Og det kan jeg så for eksempel her på knappen med plus, kan jeg gøre mit bord længere. På den måde, så kan jeg tilpasse bordet til mit lokale. Jeg kan også gøre det bredere. Så vi får præcis det udseende med vores bord i mødelokalet. Jeg kan selvfølgelig også flytte bordet rundt i lokalet, så jeg placerer det præcis, hvor jeg gerne vil have bordet. Jeg kan tilføje flere borde, jeg kan tilføje flere stole. Når jeg går ind i devices, der kan jeg så gå ind og så sige, hvad kunne jeg godt tænke mig at have i rummet? Jo, det kunne være, at jeg gerne vil have en wall-mikrofon hernede for enden. Og så tænker jeg, at jeg også gerne vil have en bordmikrofon midt på bordet. Og så kan det være, at jeg tænker, men det er nok fint til det her lokale. Så kan jeg trykke med det samme over i venstre side på Estimated Pickup. Så vil den vise mig, hvordan bliver dækningen i det her lokale. Så lige nu, der har jeg umiddelbart lige dækning omkring bordet, og så også, hvis der står en presenter op foran. Det kan godt være, at jeg vil have en bedre dækning af rummet. Så kan jeg bare gå ind og prøve at tilføje for eksempel en loftmikrofon, og så se, hvad for en dækning vil jeg så tilføje, hvis jeg får en loftmikrofon på. Og eventuelt kan jeg gå ind og ændre på den beam, som den står i. Så jeg ser hele tiden et præcist billede af, med de valgte mikrofoner, jeg har her i det her lokale, som jeg har valgt, hvordan får jeg så min dækning. Det er et utroligt stærkt værktøj. Og til sidst, der kan jeg så gå ind og trykke Save Design, for så får jeg listen over, hvad for nogle produkter er det, jeg skal bestille og bruge til det her lokale og sælge til kunden. Så jeg kan trykke Save Design, og så taster jeg min e-mailadresse, så bliver den sendt til mig som en mail. Det er super enkelt. Designet, du har her, det er jo så det samme design, du så vil se, inden når du bygger dit rum inde på webinterfacet på StemAudio-produkterne. Så det er utrolig intuitivt lavet. Det vil jeg lige gøre sådan, så I kommer tilbage her. Det var sådan en umiddelbart gennemgang af StemAudio. Bob han nævnte netop, at der kan være 5 enheder på den firmware, der er nu, og det vil sige, det er 4 mikrofoner og så en StemAudio hub. Og senere hen, der kommer det så, at du kan have 10-12 enheder i det samme rum. Du kan sagtens have mange flere på dit netværk, men i det samme rum, der er det så 10-12 enheder, der kommer en opdatering til. Der kommer flere og flere ting løbende til StemAudio, så det bliver spændende at følge dem. Og som det seneste, så har vi lige fået betjeningspanelet, som I har set hernede foran, hvor vi lige nu kan køre Zoom Rooms direkte fra enheden, og du kan køre True Conference, og du kan også køre Ring Central fra enheden. Og vi glæder os til at se, når Teams også kommer, som vi jo bruger meget her i Danmark. En anden ting, vi kan nævne, det er, at StemAudio, den er supporteret også hos Solstice Conference. Det vil sige, hvis I har Immersive Solstice, I sælger til mødelokaler, så kan I tilslutte hubben med USB til Solstice, og så vil Solstice gribe mikrofonerne i lokalet og kan bruge enten vægmikrofonen eller bordmikrofonen som højtaler i lokalet også, hvis du ønsker det. Så vi har en god samlet løsning der med StemAudio sammen med vores øvrige producenter. Er der ellers nogen, der har nogle spørgsmål til, hvad vi har været igennem her i dag? I er også meget velkommen til at tage fat i os, og så komme herud og få en demo her on-site af StemAudio. Og jeg kan nævne, at inde på StemAudios hjemmeside, der kan man faktisk også gå ind og så se nogle videoer, hvor de optager dels med computerens indbyggede mikrofon, så man kan høre, hvordan bliver lyden, og så skifter de over til, hvordan det så fungerer i det lokale med eksempelvis en vægmikrofon, bordmikrofon eller en loftmikrofon. Så man kan høre derinde, hvad er forskellen faktisk i forhold til at bruge det indbyggede udstyr eller alternativ udstyr. Ja. Jeg tror ikke, der er nogen spørgsmål. No questions, I guess.
Obviously, we covered everything that was required.
That's good. Og undskyld den lille internetforbindelseshack. Jeg tror, der er en, der har stået på et kabel derude. Så jeg lige havde den lige hang i starten, men det fik vi styr på. Okay. Then I actually think we are finished for today.
Okay.
So it was a pleasure to have you on board, Bob. Thank you for standing up for us here on this webinar.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That was great. Thank you very much. Well, any questions at all, then you know how to get hold of Brian.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Stay safe.
bye.
And have a nice day.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Ja, og bare lige, så vi slutter af på dansk også. Jeg beklager lige internetforbindelsen. Der var en, der stod på et kabel derude, tror jeg. Men sådan er det. Og ellers, hvis I har spørgsmål, så bare tag fat i os. Vi har StemAudio installeret herude, så I kan høre det. Og vi kan også komme ud med nogle af enhederne og demonstrere det for jer. Det er også muligt, at I kan få et i udlån, hvis I gerne vil teste for eksempel loftmikrofonen i et specifikt område. Men ellers så er designguiden på hjemmesiden rigtig, rigtig god. Og den indtil videre, så måler den ud fra et rum, der har en loftshøjde på 2,7. Så hvis du har et rum med et meget højere loft, så tænk nogle loftmikrofoner ind også, og så eventuelt man kan hænge dem ned i den wire, der følger med, eller anden wire. Det kan man også gøre. Men tak for i dag. Og vi ses derude, så pas på jer selv. Hej.